Hey Leo, how are we today? Just doing our weekly readings. This week we are doing full moon readings because the first was the super full moon in Aquarius. All right, so it is sort of right in the center of Leo season, so happy birthday guys. But it is the full moon in Aquarius, and it will be obviously affecting you guys since it is Leo season. It probably has had a bit of a effect on you. It's bringing about a lot of dramatic conclusions to things, but giving us that chance to release and reveal things that we may need to see, but also that opportunity to realign to our true purpose as well. All right, now um, it is known as the sturgeon full moon, so it is all about sort of harvest and abundance as well. The sturgeon is actually a fish. They do call it, a living fossil because it hasn't changed since the beginning of fossil records. So it's kind of like the dinosaur fish of the world. It grows to like 3.5 meters as well, so it's huge. But what's actually really important is that it is actually a critically endangered species. So, it's one of those animals that we, are losing in this world. And so, with this full moon being all about abundance and harvest, it's actually really important to remember that, we're not just looking at our abundance now and harvesting all the good stuff right now. We need to actually be putting steps towards our future, so that next season we can harvest again and have that abundance again, and the season after that, and so on and so forth. So, it is also really about being aware to, feed spirit, feed the earth, as well as your own spirit at this time, okay? So that we really are looking out for, not just ourselves and our own abundance, but the abundance of sort of, everything around us, including, the world, the earth, so very kind of important at this time of year because, there's if we have abundance right here, right now, but we're not looking forward into the future and creating more abundance for the future as well, what happens this time next year? You're looking around going, I've got nothing left. So, it's now not critically endangered. We've now gone extinct, and so there's no more fish to eat. You know what I mean? So, I don't think it's actually caught that much for its actual meat. I think it's more for its caviar and that kind of thing, but random. Um, but we are doing a shadow work reading today. Okay, so that's all about feeding that abundance and within ourself. That self growth kind of stuff. Looking at the darker sides of ourself, so that we can face those things, accept those things, and do better in the future. Of course, free will exists, and you're not required to actually do that. But anyone that is on a bit of a shadow work journey, if you don't know what that is, there's plenty of resources online. But self growth, self betterment, just for yourself and for your highest good, so that you can create that abundance for yourself in the future as well. All right. Now, I will let everyone know that we will be running a bit of a competition where anyone that does comment on one of the videos will actually go in the draw for a free personal reading. So make sure you comment and like and subscribe so you can keep updated about that as well. But today we are starting off with an overview from the Soul's Journey lesson cards. I do also have the red hand lenormand with me, as well as doing something a bit different this week with the shadow work. I haven't used these for shadow work previously, the Hidden Truth Oracle, but they're actually got some really important messages that have been coming out with those as well. So, normally they would only pick up on, other people's energy, but today I have been using them this week for the shadow work, and they're coming through really well. So I definitely will be using them again in the future for our shadow work readings, guys. All right, but moving into your reading, get into it there and get that overview for you. Okay, Leo. Leo, in Leo season, what do they need to know for their shadow work, please? What does Leo need to know for their shadow work? Surrender, Leo. So surrender to the energy of the full moon, release anything that's no longer serving you, and realign yourself, for your highest purpose. Awesome. I can release my need to control. Okay, so you guys being a bit of a fire sign, you can be a bit fiery like me. I'm a Leo rising, and we can tend to try to control things around us, but it's that just wanting to be able to change the things that we can change and whatnot, around us and in our life, and with people that we deal with and all those sorts of things. But I can release my need to control. So it's letting us know, surrender that control at the moment. So realize that you can't control other people's actions or behaviors, but also surrendering yourself to the flow of time, to the flow of energy, to the universe's desires for you, Leo. So whatever that means for you. All right, so we'll have a look at the Lenormand. Okay, Leo. What does Leo need to know for their shadow work, please? Ooh, Leo, we've got some hard energy coming through. So, I will in advance say I'm very sorry if this does get a little bit confronting, Leo, because we do have some of the harder energy has come out for you today. Starting off with the chain, okay? So, straight away, everyone kind of has probably a very similar image when we're talking about chains. It's, something binding us, holding us down, chaining us in place, stopping us from, being able to move, all those sorts of things. So you're kind of a bit chained up at the moment, Leo. And it's really this strong vibe of, what is it that's chaining you up so badly at this time? Because these chains, a lot of the time when we see this card, these chains are of our own design. All right. So that means that we are the ones putting these chains around ourselves, putting these limitations on ourselves. So what limitations are you putting on yourself? And why are you putting those limitations on yourself? Why are you chaining yourself to something? There's a lot of different energy coming through with these chains card. But I just want to let you know, I do. There's a song by a band called In This Moment. I can't remember which exact song it is, but in the lyrics it goes, "Even in these chains you can't stop me. Even in these chains you can't break me." All right. So you, Leo, are held down by all these chains. You've been chained up and held back and held down, but it hasn't broken you. You're still here watching today, so it hasn't broken you. You're stronger than this, and you can break free of these chains, okay? Because they may look like they're this strong super metal chain, but when it's a chain that we have created ourselves around ourselves, if you actually consciously try to break those chains, you realize that it's just a matter of, they wisp away like smoke. All right. So these chains actually cannot hold you. They cannot break you. They are, in place. I feel like for a lot of you, they're in place. It's external pressures. So you're kind of feeling like someone else is chaining you up and limiting you and holding you back from where you need to go. Those sorts of things. I do feel as though for some of you, this is directly talking about facing the fact that there's someone in your life who is like, the old ball and chain that is holding you back. And they're sort of, you know, having this person in your energy is limiting you from being able to be who you truly are. So there's definitely some Leos out there that this is actually a person who is, got you in these chains at the moment. And, it's a really hard energy, Leo, because for those of you who this is a person, I do feel as though for a lot of those people, this is, some definite issues of control and whatnot going on there. Um, I don't really like talking about the whole narcissist thing, but do you have one in your life that is holding you back from being yourself, Leo? Um, that's all I'm going to say about that, because I'm just feeling that for some of you that may be what's going on here, with these chains, and it's really holding you back. But for a lot of you, this is just yourself holding yourself back, limiting yourself from doing the things that you truly want to do, from feeling as though, oh, I can't do that, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough to do that, I'm not, like, yeah, it's kind of that vibe of like, if I were to limit my, like, I don't know, I'm just getting this example in my head, right? Because if I do sometimes like to go out and have a few drinks with friends and whatnot, and go to the pub and the club and party up, have a dance and all that sort of stuff, and there's been times when I've kind of realized, I've looked around and I'm like the oldest person in this club, dancing like there's no tomorrow, and I'm surrounded by like 18, 20-year olds. And I'm like, for a lot of people, that would actually be really daunting, and they would feel as though, oh, I can't go out because I'm too old to go out and dance, because I go out and dance and there's only young people. That's a young people thing to do. But if I were to limit myself, that's what I would be doing. I would be chaining myself to the idea, the limit that, hang on, you're too old to do this. And that is not the case. I can go and dance, and if I want to dance, I'm going to dance, guys. Um, like I said, Leo rising. So if I'm going to dance, I'm going to dance. Um, but that's the kind of example I'm kind of getting here, that there's some sort of limitation that you're putting on yourself, and you're telling yourself this limitation, and it's not the case. Like, there's nothing in this world. I might go out one weekend and there might be like an 80-year-old on the dance floor shaking around, and good on them. Like, why should they allow their age to limit them, and why should you allow whatever it is you're saying to yourself to limit you from doing the thing that you really want to do? There's no reason. If you desire it, go for it. There's nothing stopping you other than yourself at this kind of time. I'm just sort of feeling that for majority of you, that's what's going on here. It's your own limitation holding you down, holding you back from something here. And then the next card I do have is the Mirror. All right, so that is a really hard, a really hard energy to deal with. But that's what we're sort of talking about with that chain. It's like, look in the mirror and ask yourself, why am I limiting myself? Why do I believe that I can't do this, I can't do that? Like, there's that meme or whatever where it's like, Einstein was, you know, however old when he did this, and so and so was this old when they did that. So age, like, I'm just still using the age example, but age is not a barrier to stop you from doing anything. And same as whatever it is that you're limiting yourself to. Why are you telling yourself that that's a barrier? Why are you telling yourself that that's a limitation that you have on you, when really, if you look in the mirror, and admit to yourself that that is your own limitation that you're putting on you. Nobody else is putting that on you. Like, there may, we all know what society's like, and there may be people that when I go out and dance the night away, there's a few people that probably look at me like, what's this old chick doing with dancing like there's no tomorrow? Do you know what? I don't care. That's their their limitations on me, not mine. Like, if I can move, I can groove. Okay. I know it's a very interesting analogy I'm using there, but that's kind of what it is, though. It's like, if you can do it, do it. There's nothing stopping you other than yourself. All right. And with this mirror energy, all right. Once again, I feel the need to mention that there may be a narcissist around some of you. All right. So if you know, you know. All right. I don't want to delve into that energy. But we do see with a narcissist, there is this paradigm behavior, the empath narcissist behavior, paradigm thing. Okay, so if look into that, if that's your situation, all right, because there's always elements that if you're dealing with a narcissist, your behavior changes, all right, and in response to trauma and whatnot, our behavior always changes in response. Okay, so looking at those the aspects of that, if that's for you, that's not for everyone, all right. Um, the main message I'm getting, like I said, I keep getting it, but I'm not taking it. I'm sorry. I'm not delving into that any further. All right, but there is this other thing with the mirror. It's kind of like, it's really that asking you to look yourself in the mirror. Look at your own stuff, look at your own behavior, your own actions, your own traumas, and there's really this strong need to face ish. All right, there's it's a hard energy, Leo, because it tells you need to face. You have to turn that mirror, and sometimes we don't like what we see, but you need to look at it and face it in order to even deal with it. If you can't admit it to yourself and you can't face it, how are you ever going to change it? All right, so it's a hard energy, because this is really asking you to look good and hard at yourself and your own behaviors, because there's something not quite right, and you know it, but you're in denial about it. Okay, so I'm sorry if that's confronting, but that's what I'm getting. All right, and the thing with the mirror as well is that, if you are talking to someone, okay, and they say something that triggers the hell out of you. All right, if they say something that triggers you big time, um, the things that trigger us are a reflection of ourselves a lot of the time, or a reflection of something within ourselves that we haven't dealt with. So if there's things around you that are triggering you, if this reading is triggering you, why? What is it exactly that makes that thing trigger you? Because it's going back to that surrender card. You can't control other people around you. Release the need to control other. You can't control what other people do or say, but you can control your reaction to what people do or say. So if you're reacting big time to something that somebody does or says to you, you need to sort of stop and look at, why does that trigger me so much? What is it about that is triggering me? All right. Um, and a lot of the time it's connected to our traumas and those sorts of things, but it highlights what we need to face. All right. Because an example I probably would be able to, because it is a confusing sort of issue, but an example I would probably kind of have there would be, like if you are down the street and, you are just doing your normal thing, going shopping, and someone comes up out of nowhere and abuses you and starts yelling at you and telling you you're a horrible person, and you're just like, I don't even know this person. I don't even know what they're going on about. But then it's how you react to that. Like, because, me personally in the past, that would be something that would have triggered me, and I would have like gone off at this person in return. I would have started yelling back, and who knows, it may have gotten physical. Like, it would have just escalated and escalated, because I would have had this, for me personally, it was this trigger when people blame me for things that I know that I did not do. So if you can imagine, if someone's yelling at me saying, you just ran over my dog. And I'm like, I know for a fact I did not hit anyone's dog. I did not run over anyone's dog. I would have got like really defensive, and I would have yelled back and screamed red, white, and blue at them, like, but that was because, like, from my own personal traumas, that, I had to accept blame for things, or, there's a whole stream of things, but and it's all about that whole, like, defensiveness and things like that. I've kind of gone a bit AWOL there with that example, but I'm just kind of talking about, at some point I kind of stopped and looked myself in the mirror when I was behaving in reaction like that, and so defensive like that. I'm not going to lie, I still do it sometimes here, just by it's just so ingrained into me that a lot of the time defensiveness is my natural nature. um we're all on a journey, guys. But when I stop and look myself in the mirror and be like, why does that trigger me so much? It's because, I have this very strong defense against what is, right and wrong. And if I know something is right and I know that I am right, it is a big trigger for me that I will really defend what is right. So that's sort of where that all stemmed from. And once I was able to actually face that issue within myself, I can actually start to try to, respond to that same thing by, like, calmly, look, I know I didn't do anything wrong, but if you need to blame someone, that's fine. You can blame me. I know I didn't do it, and you probably deep down know that I didn't do it. But if you need someone to blame, that's fine. You can blame me. I don't care. Like, I'm not going to lie. I've taken the blame for a few things in the last few years that I know I didn't do the wrong thing. Someone wants to call me crazy? Cool. Okay. Someone wants to tell me I'm horrible? Okay. Cool. No problems. If that's how you want to see it, that's fine. I know the truth and I know what is right. I don't need to pound it into you. I just need to know for myself. So I'm waffling on quite a lot there, but I'm sorry. But that's kind of where I'm getting at. Really facing the nitty gritty of why we react in certain ways to certain things, facing those hard things. All right. The other card I do have for you today is the bear energy, all right? So that's actually kind of what I was just talking about with that defensiveness, because the bear is all about, with shadow work, it's all about defensiveness and being overprotective, being guarded, all right? So, you are this bear that's, ready to rip someone's face off if they get too close to you, Leo. So I don't really feel the need to go too deeply into that. It is just letting us know that, it's more to do about these things, and I feel like we've kind of covered the same information already anyway. But it's really about, letting your guard down, stop being so defensive and overprotective of yourself, because it's just scaring people away with this bear energy here. The bear has the opportunity to be quite a strong, powerful thing, but and quite independent as well, and mama bear kind of vibe, but as shadow work, it's you're pushing you're too far into the mama bear and you're ready to rip someone's face off, for a perceived threat. That's the key, I suppose, is that you're defending yourself against these perceived threats, but if you're actually going a bit too far with it, you're being too defensive against these things, too guarded, and you're not allowing anyone close to you. You're not actually allowing anyone to cross your boundaries in any way, shape, or form. You're trying to control things too much with that. That surrender. Once again, I can release my need to control. All right, and this bear is up on the borders, like going, you're too close, but they're not. So it's kind of like all about letting down the guard. at the moment, and realizing that people aren't actually trying to cross your boundaries. They're not trying to control you. You need to look in the mirror and realize that these chains are your own, Leo. So there's not really as much need for you to be so defensive and guarded as you think there is. Okay, so once again, sorry to be a little bit confronting there, Leo, but this is, I just read the cards, guys, and read the energy. So if that's what it's telling me, I'm going to pass that message on. Sometimes they are quite confronting messages, but I suppose, you, Leo, are most well prepared to deal with that at the moment. With that mirror energy, you are at that stage where you really need to face some stuff. And so if I need to say that in a, confronting manner, then maybe that's the way you need to hear it. All right. All right, so what is Leo's hidden truth, please? Okay, so firstly, we do have, I wish things could be different. All right, so, you are sort of wishing for things that, once again, with that chain energy, you're chaining yourself down, you're limiting yourself. You're saying that I want things to be different, but you're not actually taking actions to make them different. This is a kind of a past energy that you wish you could change the way that things happened. But you know what? We can't change the past. We can only change how we, move on into the future, use that information to guide us and grow us and whatnot. So, wishing that things could be different is kind of partly putting that limitation on yourself that, things happen like XYZ. But if you're focusing on how you wish that they could have been different in the past, you're not focusing on how to make them different in the future. All right. We also have, you don't know how hard it was to let you go. Once again, Leo, we're just looking back at ourselves with this particular energy. Um, you know, it's saying you don't know how hard it was to let you go, but it's actually telling us that you haven't let go. Um, you know, the it's that past energy once again. The more you're holding on to that past energy, saying, "Oh, you've got no idea how hard it was. It was really hard to let this go." Like the more that you're focusing on that you're not realizing that you haven't actually let it go. All right. So because you're focusing on the past still with this card, saying, "Oh, it was so hard to let it go. It was so hard to get over that." But like the more that you're compounding on that energy, it's that chain. Once again, you're actually chaining yourself into that past energy and not letting it go. Even though you're saying you're letting it go and you have let it go, the more that you rehash and rehash and rehash, is that really letting it go? If you had honestly let it go, why would you care how hard it was, because you've gotten through it? I know, once again, harsh, but if you have let something go, you just don't care anymore a lot of the time. So a lot of the time, when something's out of your system, it's out of your system. So there's no need to rehash it and go back to, oh, it was so hard. I had to do this and that and this and that. You're getting stuck in the past energy with that, Leo. So, and I'm not going to lie, like it probably was really hard to deal with that thing or that person or whatever. The past, a lot of the time we do go through hard experiences, and they do take a long time to get over. And not everyone heals completely. A lot of the time that hurt is still going to be there, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. But the more that you sit there and rehash that hurt and go over about, oh, it was so hard, I had to do this and that in order to heal, you're not recognizing that you're not actually fully healed from that, because you're still going back into that past energy and therefore bringing it back into your current. All right. So the more that we rehash the past, the more we're actually bringing it to our current self and putting it as a chain around us, a limitation around us. Okay, so just be aware of that as well, Leo. But that's what I have for you guys. I'm sorry that your guys was super confronting today. Very, very deep stuff, guys. But like I said, it's Leo season. You guys are the ones most capable of dealing with this energy at this time. So it's obviously a big time for you guys to be facing some of these things and dealing with these things and moving forward. All right. So keep an eye out for the all signs readings over the weekend. I will be trying to, do a few more uplifting, positive messages. So hopefully we've got something a bit better for you over the weekend, Leo. All right, but that's what I've got. So thank you guys for your time.